This time on One Foot Flipper, how much do I really make and how much more did I make last year? Stay tuned.
One Foot Flipper.
So the other day I had one of those friendly commenters that says, "Oh, you don't sell anything. People can see your store. We know how much you sell." And that kind of prodded me to actually go look at my sales. Now remember, I have 2 stores. I don't have 1 store. I have 2 stores. But that caused me to go look at my sales, and I'm at about 89,000 for the year so far, which is, I'm actually above where I was at last year this same time. Although my profits are way, way down because I spent the previous 2 years before this year doing lots of big bulk buys and listing all the best, highest dollar stuff and pushing the harder stuff to the side, pushing all the smalls to the side. So that left me with a whole lot of smaller and cheaper items. And then I also made what, at least in retrospect, this is a mistake the way I did the whole thing. I did a huge record buy this spring, but I put too much time and quality into the record listings. I was listing giving $2 and $3 records the same attention that I was giving $50 records. Like everything got laid out with a record player, 7 or 8 pictures, a 30-second video, and massive listing times for all these cheap records. That was a complete mistake. I don't know if buying the records wasn't a mistake, but the time I put in on those listings was a huge mistake because it probably took me 6 solid weeks of labor to list those records. When if I would have only put the real effort into the $20 plus ones and put little effort into the cheap ones, I probably could have listed them in a week. So really sabotaged myself that way too. But it is teaching me a lesson going forward to, definitely gonna try and avoid smalls that don't walk in my front door. A lot of my merchandise walks in my front door. People bring it to me, or I buy huge bulk purchases. And when I got the smalls, then I got them. But if I'm choosing to buy it or not, I'm gonna way more often choose not to buy that small price item in the first place. Because just because I have $88,000 in sales doesn't mean I have the same level of profits that I had, that somebody else with $88,000 in sales do. I don't. This is actually, unless something changes this year, I'm actually going to get a tax. I'm not going to owe taxes. They're going to owe me some money back because I've been, paying full price for my health insurance through the marketplace, and I've been sending in my quarterly tax payments. I think I'm actually going to get a tax return this year, which will be nice. It'll be the first one since I started eBay, I'll tell you that. So I'm on my way to pick up the kid here from her volunteering club. Still not really sure what they're volunteering about. That's still a mystery to me. I know in her Girl Scouts, for some reason, they've decided that they're helping out with some race in downtown St. Louis this weekend, and they have to be there at 6 a.m. Thing is, we don't live in St. Louis. We live in St. Charles. Our entire troop lives in St. Charles. Downtown St. Louis is 20 miles away. No idea why they're volunteering at something 20 miles away when there are events that happen in St. Charles where we live. Also, the same commenter who was commenting on how much money I don't make also was saying I couldn't sell $12,000 a year for the rest of the year, even if I wanted to, because I don't have enough merchandise left. And once again, I think he estimated the amount of merchandise I have left. I went through and checked everything. Maybe I'll throw the numbers up on the screen or something here, but I have a lot of merchandise left. Now, about 60 grand of it is in cards. That's going to take me 10 years to unload. But the other half of it is, for the most part, real stuff. Some of it's listing. About 36,000 of it, for what I remember, is listed. There's also thousands of dollars in drafts, and about another $10,000 in death pile, which is evenly split, I think, between items that are completely unlisted and items that I have massive quantity on, but I just don't have the entire quantity in the eBay system for one reason or another. In some cases, it's just because I haven't counted all the extra backstock I have, and in other cases, it's because when I ramped up the second account, it was limiting the amount of items I could have and dollar amount I could have in my store. So, if I have a 1,200 of the same Christmas ornament, I don't need to bang all 1,200 in. That's another thing. I have a lot of money in Christmas ornaments with names on them, and if those sales do not pick up, if the sales on those do not do well this Christmas, then I think I'm going to liquidate them. Because last year they had already picked up in sales by this time, and I'm still right now only selling 2 a week, and I need to be selling 10 or 20 of them a day, not 2 a week. Because it's really the space I've got wrapped up in them. They've paid for themselves money-wise, but when I've got basically an entire, floor-to-ceiling shelving unit, like, 8 feet wide to the ceiling, filled with these things, they need to produce more than that, or else I could flip that space multiple times per year with something better and make more money. Of course, then I'd have to find something better, but that's a whole nother story. See, most of you who are watching this, you are capable of making more money than I do. Especially now, this year, I'll be honest, I call myself a full-time reseller, but I'm really splitting really splitting my career pretty evenly between YouTube and reselling at this point. The hours are about 50-50. And those of you who aren't wasting time having a YouTube channel like me that, only pays $300 a month, if you're not wasting your time doing that, and you can walk like a normal human being and carry things and lift things and go to more than 4 garage sales in one day and still be able to walk afterwards, then you are capable of making way more money than I can make. I often find I'm selling worse stuff because I cannot source the way as well as you could source. I just can't beat enough feet, can't see enough sales. So, I take the big buys when I can get it. Instead of going to 20 sales, I'll buy 20 sales worth of stuff at 4 sales. It's just a huge difference in what most of you can do and what I can do. Or if you're in my situation, hey, you can still do what I can do. And there is nothing wrong with that. I am proud of what I do, what I manage, what I've accomplished. I've got a paid off house. All 5 of our cars are paid for. Or do we have 6 cars? That's a great question. I think we have 6 cars right now. We have the Mercedes. Hasn't been started since before I lost my leg because I can't get behind the wheel of it with the fake leg on. We have my truck under the back carport needing repairs. We have my old van. We have my wife's 2 compact Toyotas, and we have this Jeep. So yes, we have 6 vehicles. They're all paid for, but 2 of them we want to dispose of relatively quickly. My wife keeps telling me to dispose of the Mercedes as well. Although 2 of the 3 that we really need to get rid of, we have the issues of, like, we have no idea where the title is to our little red Toyota, and it had a lien on it at one point, so we have no lien release paperwork on it either. And then I've lost the lien release paperwork to that Mercedes that I briefly financed for about 6 months, 16 years ago. Lost that paperwork. Will the bank even have that anymore? I have no idea. But it makes one reason why those vehicles are just sitting there instead of actually going on to new homes. Well, my van is just sitting there really because it's still got some death pile in the back of it, and I wanted it to hang around just for a little bit until I made sure I worked out all the kinks out of this Jeep. Still got to either do the back brakes on this Jeep myself or drop it off to get them done. Should probably do that tomorrow. Probably be a good idea. What do you think? Could do it myself. I'm capable of doing it. It's just more of a matter of making sure I get every single tool I need with me before I get down on the ground, because the up and down is really difficult. We're getting closer to the school. closer to the giant traffic jam caused by the let out of all the clubs, because all the clubs should let out at the exact same time. That's the best way to do it. Make sure everyone ends at the exact same time. Make sure the parents are only allowed to use one of the 3 entrances into the school. That way we make a huge choke point there. And make sure the children who walk home from the clubs also have to walk across that same choke point, so the crossing guard is forced to continually stop traffic at that choke point. Hey, my low gas light came on. That's good. 33 miles to empty. Normally I don't do that very often. That's a my wife thing, which is not having gas. But her thing, though, is being late to places because she doesn't have gas. I've never been late to something because I had to get gas. For one thing, I always budget enough time for anything I'm doing for something like that to occur. And usually I get gas way before that thing goes over to E. But I get gas so seldom now that I'm disabled that, you know, I can go, well, in the van I could go a month without, you know, between fill-ups. This is a little worse on gas mileage, so it's more like 3 weeks. All right, where's my child? There's my child. There she is. All right, we have retrieved Julie. Hi, Sweetums. How was your day?
It was fun.
Awesome. You don't have to hurry this time. There's nobody behind us.
I know. I'm still taking a step off, though.
Okay, one thing I didn't look at while I was driving around is the YouTube money. I have made $1,646.75 from YouTube this year. That ends up being between $200 and $300 a month on average. It is not the least profitable thing I've ever done. The least profitable thing I've ever done was the 4 or 5 books that I wrote. But it is the second least profitable thing I've done, because in that I probably put at least 20 hours a week into YouTube. I don't, truly keep track of it, but that's probably what I put into it. And I don't even know if that's making $1 an hour. I'd have to do the math. Let's do the math real quick, shall we? I make $2.11 an hour on YouTube. When I worked at McDonald's when I was 16, I made $4.25 an hour, so not too bad. Hoping for that to go up. I've hit a real slump in subscriptions lately. I mean, my views keep going up. The amount of money I make every month keeps going up, but I cannot see. I am just very slowly gaining subs. I'm losing, every 2 I gain, I'll lose 1. I don't know if that's normal once you even out. I really don't know. So anybody else around my level, let me know. How often are you losing subs compared to gaining subs? What's your lifetime total of gained and lost? I'd love to hear that as well. You can find those numbers are in the YouTube analytics. You gotta kind of dig deep for them, but they're in there. Oh, I guess you wanted to know how much I really actually make. Last year, I believe on my income tax, it said I made $46,000 profit from reselling. Now, remember, that is giving me about $4,000 in deductions that a normal person would never get, but for the same things they'd be doing anyway. So it's really more like 50. This year, I'm only looking at being at around 30 instead, because I just spent so much time on smalls and YouTube and reconfiguring my business. Next year we should be back up in a forward trajectory again. And I'm not 100%, I don't 100% care, because I don't need to make a certain amount of money anymore. Everything I've got's paid for. There's not too much more I want out of life other than to give my daughter the best life I can give her. And that's about all I want to do. Hey, thanks for watching, everybody. I'll have a more together video for you next time, and I hope to see you again soon. Oh, if you know anybody else with 6 cars, tell them about my channel. They need to know.